right, Shalom.
Shalom.
Want to start off by giving all praises to
Yahweh,
Ba'ashem,
Yahweh
Shai.
Shai.
Double honors to the apostles and elders at Great Millstone, and blessings to the elect. It's the Great Millstone Dallas camp. I got the brother Tazamah here with me.
Shalom.
And, I'm Yatazak, and basically we're going to continue the series of going into the history of the Maccabees. If you brothers have been tuned in, you'll understand that we're chapter 5. And we're just going to get straight to it, man, you know.
Okay. All right. This is first Maccabees chapter 5, verse 1. It says, "Now when the nations round about heard that the altar was built and the sanctuary renewed as before, it displeased them very much."
Now keep in mind, when you go back into chapter 4, it goes into how Judas and his men pretty much fought enough wars and did enough damage to the Edomite rulership to where they was able to rebuild the temple, right, and put it back the way it was. They had made a decision to tear down the altar instead of fixing it up because it had been defiled by the heathen. Right. You know, go ahead.
Verse 2, "Wherefore they thought to destroy the generation of Jacob that was among them, and thereupon they began to slay and destroy the people."
That's what I'm saying. And you notice this line that says, "Wherefore they thought to destroy the generation of Jacob." You know what I'm saying? Going all the way back to Cain.
Right.
You know how like Yashawamba like to bring out how Cain was trying to eradicate Abel's family line, but we was giving Seth as a recompense. You know what I'm saying?
It said he was trying to destroy that. They was trying to destroy that generation, man. So they were really trying to do damage to our nation, man. You know what I'm saying? Like they was really trying to do some damage to us. I got a quick precept. This is Ezekiel chapter 25, verse 12. It says, "Thus saith the Lord Yahweh, because that Edom had dealt against the house of Judah by taking vengeance."
Edom had dealt against the house of Judah by taking vengeance, going all the way back to the story of Jacob and Esau. You know what I'm saying? Esau realized he had been supplanted, and he that's where that perpetual hatred started. You know what I'm saying? And as a matter of fact, later on in this chapter, it's gonna go into how we was trying to pass through some Edomites' land. You know what I'm saying? And that had happened in history prior. You know what I'm saying? The whole race it thing. You know what I'm saying? When they wouldn't let us pass through, when we was being chased.
Yep.
You know? Go ahead.
It says, "Because that Edom hath dealt against the house of Judah by taking vengeance, and hath greatly offended, and revenged himself upon them."
The Lord say vengeance is his. So Esau didn't have no right to go as far as he did, man.
Right.
Go ahead.
"Thus saith the Lord Yahweh, I will also stretch out mine hand upon Edom."
I'm going to stretch out my hand upon Edom. You know? He stretched out his hands upon Israel by using Edom, and now it's going to flip. He going to put his judgment on Edom by using Israel.
That's
according to Ezekiel chapter 25.
Yep. It says, "And I will cut off man and beast from it, and will make it desolate from Teman, and they of Dedan shall fall by the sword. And I will lay my vengeance upon Edom by the hand of my people Israel."
That's what I'm saying. He laid his hands on us by using Edom. He's going to use us to lay his hands on he used Edom to lay his hands on us, and then he going to use us to lay his hands on Edom.
Right.
Go ahead.
"And they shall do in Edom according to mine anger."
That's what I'm saying. Edom did according to us.
Right.
According to the Heavenly Father's anger. You know?
Right.
And now the role's gonna be reversed. You know, because the scriptures say, once Esau took this Bible and held it as his own, he was held accountable for the law, statutes, and commandments that are placed in it.
Right.
Go ahead.
"And according to my fury, and they shall know my vengeance, saith the Lord Yahweh."
And they shall know my vengeance, saith the Lord Yahweh, man. And he gonna let that be well known.
Yep.
You know?
They're gonna see the destruction of Babylon the Great, man, and these other nations they gonna know that this is what happens when you mess with Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai's apple of his eye, man.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? They gonna be wailing and mourning, you know, because the destruction, man. Look, when Yahweh sends Yahweh Shai back, man, and destroys this place, man, people don't understand how much power he's coming back with, man. You know, and it's just this is an example in the Maccabees, like, man, when the Lord is with his chosen men, that we were unmovable forces, man. Like we couldn't be moved through the Spirit.
That's right. I want to say it's just like when the Lord put the Spirit on Moses. You know, through the Spirit and power of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, he put the Spirit on Moses to confound everybody, pretty much.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And it's the same thing he was doing with Judas. You know, not to say Judas was Moses or nothing like that, but Judas got that fame in the land by trusting in Yahweh Shem Yahushai, same way Moses did.
Right.
You know, go ahead.
Con, I'm gonna jump to verse 3 in the first Maccabees chapter 5. It says, verse 3. It says, "Then Judas fought against the children of Esau in Idumea at Arabatine, because they besieged Israel, and he gave them a great
They besieged Gael. Does it say Israel in yours? Oh, okay, that must be a city in there then, because it got Gael on here. Okay, good.
It says, because they besieged Israel, and he gave them a great overthrow, and abated their courage, and took their spoils. Also he remembered the injury of the children of Bean, who had been a snare and an offense unto the people, and that they lay in wait for them in the ways." Now the children of Bean, when you go into the history, is one of the descendants from Esau as well. All right, verse 5, it says, "He shut them up therefore in the towers, and encamped against them, and destroyed them utterly, and burnt the towers of that place with fire, and all that were therein. Afterward he passed over to the children of Ammon."
That's what I'm saying. He's on. I would say Judas has got the spirit and power of Yahweh Shem Yahushai on him, and he's wrecking.
Yeah, he burning people up in the towers.
You know, and everything that he was doing was a recompense.
Right.
All the actions that he was taking, all the people that died, was all the recompense, man, for touching the apple of the Lord's eye, like you said.
Right.
Go ahead.
Afterward he passed over to the children of Ammon, where he had found a mighty power and much people, with Timotheus their captain. So he fought many battles with them, till at length they were discomfited before him. And
that's what I'm saying. They was going to war, man. You know what I'm saying? Because that's one thing about it, man. You can talk about Esau all you want, but he's a warrior too. You know what I'm saying? You got some Edomites out there that ain't scared of Jacob. You know, you got some Edomites out there. That'll get out there with your ass, man.
They'll get down with you.
You know what I'm saying? Now they gonna lose because we naturally stronger. But shit, just because I'm stronger don't make they stronger than us right now. Are we scared of them?
Right.
Hell no. You know what I'm saying? But it's not about. I would say it's not about numbers and things like that when you're dealing with the spirit.
Right.
Go ahead.
And when he had taken, verse 8, and when he had taken Jazar with the towns belonging thereto, he returned unto Judea.
I'm talking about he was taking everything. You know what I'm saying? All the stuff that they had taken from us, he was getting it back through the spirit. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead.
Then the heathen that were at Gilead, Galad, assembled themselves together against the Israelites that were in their quarters to destroy them. But they fled to the fortress of Dathema, and sent letters unto Judas and his brethren. The heathen that are round about us are assembled together around us to destroy us.
You know what I'm saying? So basically, Judas got a letter saying that they was that his men was surrounded. You know what I'm saying? So the best thing that they could do was to get word to Judas, because Judas was the leader. You know?
Yep.
Go ahead.
Verse 11, and they are preparing to come and take the fortress whereunto we are fled, Timotheus being king of their host. Come now therefore and deliver us from their hands, for many of us are slain.
That's what I'm saying. They whooping us, Judas. We out here getting our hat handed to us. Help. Go ahead.
Yeah, all our brethren that were in the places of Toby are put to death, their wives and their children. Also they have carried away captives and borne away their stuff, and they have destroyed there about 1,000 men. While these letters were yet reading, behold, there came other messengers from Galilee with their clothes rent, and reported on this wise, and said, they of Ptolemais and of Tyrus and Sidon and all Galilee of the Gentiles are assembled together against us to consume us.
That's what I'm saying. So they was basically, all our garrisons and all our people was under attack pretty much. You know what I'm saying? And instead of our people calling on the Lord, they called on Judas.
Yeah, they knew the Lord was dealing with them.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? They knew the Lord was dealing with them.
Yeah.
You know? But you can just imagine, you know, you gotta let you read in the letter about your brothers over here being besieged and cramped, you know, and as you read in the letter, you thinking in your mind like, man, I'm trying to figure out what I'm gonna do, you know, how to act upon this. But as you read in this letter, you got other men, clothes all rent, probably bleeding, sweating. Hey, over here in Galilee, man, we besieged up here too.
Yep.
You know, he like, damn, you know what I'm saying?
That's right.
So I'm gonna jump to the Josephus real quick. This is book 12, chapter 8, verse 1. I guess you want to call it verse, but number 1. Salaki, it says, when these things were over, the nations round about the Jews were very uneasy at the revival of their power, and rose up together and destroyed many of them, as gaining advantage over them by laying snares for them and making secret conspiracies against them.
I would say one of those secret conspiracies was, if they go off from their power, he ain't gonna protect them. You know what I'm saying? Yep. They had to go through all kind of different plans, plots, and strategies to deal with us. You know what I'm saying?
I got a quick precept. This is Psalms 83. So I get it.
Just like how the scriptures say, why do the heathen rage and imagine a vain thing? They think they can get rid of Israel.
It's impossible.
But the Lord sees otherwise. And it ain't because of us. The Lord even said himself that it ain't because y'all the biggest nation. It's because y'all the smallest.
Right.
So,
this is Psalms 83. I'm going to start at verse 1. It says, keep not thou silence, O Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. Hold not thy peace, and be not still, O power. For lo, thine enemies make a tumult, and they that hate thee have lifted up their head. They have taken crafty counsel against thy people, and consulted against thy hidden ones.
Right.
They have said, come, and let us cut them off from being a nation.
There go your NATO and your EU and the forming of that B structure all the way back then. It wasn't called the NATO and the EU back then, but it materialized into that today.
Exactly. Same thing.
Go ahead.
That the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance.
That's what I'm saying. They say that they getting together to take the name of Israel out of the earth.
Yep. Yep.
But the Lord said, as long as you can see the sun in the daytime and the moon at night, my people ain't going nowhere. So they gonna have to figure out a way to get around that. And it don't be working.
Yep.
Judas was raised up. Yahweh Shai was raised up. The apostles was raised up. All the prophets was raised up to prevent that.
Right.
Go ahead.
Verse 5, for they have consulted together with one consent. They are confederate against thee.
I said, didn't Ronald Reagan say that? If we knew we was fighting a power that wasn't from her, would we not all band together?
Get together and
you know what I'm saying? And that's where you get the premise for X-Men and Heroes, all these shows where these people realize that they have these powers and these abilities, but then the government want to get rid of them.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So since you can't fly, I can't.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
And they come up with these confederacies to combat what the Lord has set up. And that's where you get the premise for all these movies that's so popular nowadays. The Avengers are the Israelites. You know what I'm saying? The X-Men are the Israelites. Superman is the Israelite. You know what I'm saying? When you see how our abilities are unlocked, when you watch that show Heroes and things like that, you see how the people respond to it. When you watch Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., you know what I'm saying? You watch all these different shows, and basically, it's people, okay, you can equate that to us waking up to this knowledge. Right. You know what I'm saying? You done sit up here and lived your whole life. Now all of a sudden, you got this ability to walk through walls. Now all of a sudden, you got this ability to take off and fly. Now you all of a sudden got this ability to where you can't be hurt or you can't be killed. You know what I'm saying? But your whole life, you just a regular dude.
Yep.
Just like we were. Now we got this knowledge coming into this truth as a form of spiritual power. You know what I'm saying? To be able to wake up Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans to understand that they the Israelites and then go out and teach and be willing to die and all these things. When you done watched our people get our heritage beaten out of us, you damn right there's spiritual power to be able to come up out of that, man. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Go ahead.
Continuing on, it says, Judas made perpetual expeditions against these men.
He made perpetual expeditions, meaning it was constant. It was always going on. It was always somebody to fight. It was always somebody to conquer. Because you got to think about it, man. It's us against the world. It's Israel against the world.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I'm going to keep on saying it. That movie X-Men. You had Magneto, Mr. X, and the whole little X-Men crew against the world. You know what I'm saying? You remember that scene where they shot them missiles on them? And then Magneto turned all them bitches around? See, that's what they fear.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And this is the thing that's going on back then. You know what I'm saying? It said it displeased the heathen when they seen Israel rebuild that temple. Because they like, oh, shit.
Yeah, finna give they back
you know
in their power. You know,
because when you go from watching our temple be torn down and you celebrating like race it, yeah, that's Israel. Is this the nation that the Lord said was so beautiful? Yeah.
To be built back up.
You know what I'm saying? You got us all the way down, laid flat on our face. You know what I'm saying? Now you see that temple being rebuilt. Now it's a problem.
Yeah.
Same thing today, man. The whole reason why we going through this history is so we can correlate it to today, man. You know what I'm saying? You got the apostles and elders. A great millstone pretty much is Judas Maccabees and his brothers in that family. You know what I'm saying? They got the spirit on them to make sure that the rest of the nation is straight. You know what I'm saying? Judas was killing Israelites that was going off.
Yep.
Today, the apostles and elders just gonna curse you out.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? We gonna keep on reading, and we gonna still continue to correlate. You know what I'm saying? Because this is a physical thing back here during the time of the Maccabees, but it's a spiritual thing now.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And until the fishermen are turned into hunters, it's spiritual.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And even when we get that raise, if we do get that raise to go from spiritual to physical, you know what I'm saying? We still gonna be in the spirit, because at that point it's gonna be the Heavenly Father's will for us to be doing the damage that we're gonna be doing if we those men. Go ahead.
It says an endeavor to restrain them from those incursions and to prevent the mischiefs they did to the Jews. So he fell upon the Idumeans, the posterity of Esau, at Acrabatim, and slew a great many of them and took their spoils. He also shut up the sons of Bean that laid wait for the Jews, and he sat down about them and besieged them and burnt their towers and destroyed the men that were in them. After this he went in haste against the Ammonites, who had a great and numerous army, of which Timotheus was their commander.
You know what I'm saying? He was on a mission, man. He had to get a whole lot of stuff done in a short amount of time. Go ahead.
And when he had subdued them, he seized on the city Jazer, and took their wives and their children captives, and burnt the city, and then returned unto Judea.
That's what I'm saying. For brothers who don't understand why the women are taken and the kids are put in slavery and all these different things, after you conquer that land, you want to populate it with your people.
Right.
So that's why you take the women. You know what I'm saying? To lay your seed in that area, because you're taking over that land.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? The kids are put into slavery because kings don't work. You think I done fought all these battles and did all that shit so I can husk corn? You better get your ass out there and husk that corn before I get pissed off.
Yep.
Go ahead.
But when the neighboring nations understood that he was returned, they got together in great numbers in the land of Gilead, and came against those Jews that were at their borders.
That's what I'm saying. So now they're going to attack the people who can't protect themselves. You know what I'm saying? That's just how Esau always do. They always want to go after the women and kids. They always want to go after the women and kids first. You know what I'm saying? But what they don't realize is how attached Israel is to their wives and their kids. You know what I'm saying? You watch certain what's that, Spartacus. The worst thing they could have ever did was kill that dude's wife. You know what I'm saying? They killed their wife. They killed his wife thinking that they was making a statement.
Yeah, that's when he went hard.
That shit backfired like a hoe. You know what I'm saying?
It says, who then fled to the garrison of Dathema, and sent to Judas to inform him that Timotheus was endeavoring to take the place whither they were fled. And as these epistles were being read, there came other messengers out of Galilee, who informed him that the inhabitants of Ptolemais and of Tyre and Sidon and strangers of Galilee were gotten together.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They didn't have time to write no letter. They ran to Judas. They was like, look, they ganging up. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead.
When you look, that was it for that part there. But when you look at Judea and Galilee, man, it's not just no 20-minute run, man. That's when you look on a map, man. Judea and Galilee is a pretty good ways away. You know. Continuing on. Okay, so we're on verse 16. It says, now when Judas and the people heard these words, there assembled a great congregation together to consult what they should do for their brethren that were in trouble and assaulted of them.
So that was just like you said. It was like, what the fuck we gonna do? You know what I'm saying? We got brothers over here in Galilee getting their issue. We got brothers over here getting their issue. You know what I'm saying? How the fuck?
How we gonna take care of the scenario?
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Keep reading.
Then said Judas unto Simon his brother, choose thee out men and go and deliver thy brethren that are in Galilee. For I and Jonathan, my brother, will go into the country of Gilead.
So we're going to have to split up.
Yeah.
We're gonna have to split up. You know what I'm saying? He said, Simon, you take your men and you hit Galilee up, and then me and Jonathan, we gonna go to Goliath.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because that was the best strategy.
Yeah.
Judas was always in the spirit.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Go ahead.
So he left Joseph, the son of Zacharias, and Azariah as captains of the people.
That's what I'm saying. So he put 2 men in charge
Of the army that was
He
still
put
there.
2 men in charge that was gonna stay there, while him and his brother split up to go do their things on opposite sides of the spectrum. Go ahead.
Mm-hmm. With the remnant of the host in Judea to keep it, unto whom he gave commandments, saying.
That's what I'm saying. Now keep in mind, he had to leave Judea.
Yeah.
He had to go. They just rebuilt it. He had to rebuild. They had just rebuilt the temple and did all that. You know what I'm saying? But they had to leave his house. They had to leave men behind to protect that while they went to go deliver the other Akim. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Read on.
It says, unto whom he gave commandments, saying, Take ye the charge of this people, and see that ye make not war against the heathen until the time that we come again.
Stop. Read it again.
Unto whom he gave commandments, saying.
He gave Joseph, he gave Zacharias and Azarias
charge. It was Joseph and Azarias.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Joseph and Azarias, he gave them the charge to protect Judea and the people that was there. Mm-hmm. Read on.
It says, Take you the charge of this people, and see that ye make not war against the heathen.
He said, make not war against the heathen. All you got to do is stand there. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. All you got to do is stand there. They going to see you standing there, and they going to know not to come mess with Judea.
Right.
All I need you to do is that right there. While I go to Goliath, and while Jonathan go to Galilee. Go ahead.
Until the time that we come again. Now
until we come back.
Right.
Just chill till we get back. Ain't nobody gonna do nothing till I get back.
It's just very, very, very simple instructions.
You know, that's just like the apostles and elders. They say stick with what you know.
Yeah. It's very simple.
Stick with what you know. Learn, teach what you done learned. Don't try to go 3 and 4 deep when 1 deep is all that's necessary.
Right.
Go ahead.
Now unto Simon were given 3,000 men to go into Galilee,
mm-hmm.
and unto Judas 8,000 men for the country of
that's what I'm saying.
Gilead.
So that's 11,000 men that split up. Go ahead.
Then went Simon into Galilee, where he fought many battles with the heathen, so that the heathen were discomfited by him.
Simon was winning.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead.
And he pursued them unto the gate of Ptolemais.
That's what I'm saying. He said that's one thing about Judas and his brothers. They gonna run your ass all the way home.
Yeah.
They ain't satisfied with you just leaving the battlefield. They gonna chase you back to where you stay.
Yeah.
We in chapter 5, and that's all the ass that they done kicked. They followed them all the way to the crib. When they said they chased Idumeans,
yeah.
They chased them Edomites all the way back to Idumea.
He ran them back.
He's gonna run you back to your porch.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
And there were slain of the heathen about 3,000 men, whose spoils he took. And those that were in Galilee and in Arabitus with their wives and their children, and all that they had took he away with him, and brought them into Judea with great joy.
Mm-hmm. That's what I'm saying, man. That's what I'm saying. That's what had to be done at the time, man. Our people was getting towed up. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And until the Lord sends that deliverer, man, you pretty much screwed.
Yep.
Same way today. You know what I'm saying? If Yahweh Shai don't come back, we are screwed.
Yep.
Period.
Losing.
You know what I'm saying? But we got the apostles and elders to pave that way until he get back. You know what I'm saying?
I'm going to jump to the Josephus. This is chapter 8, number 2. It says, Accordingly, Judas, upon considering what was fit to be done with relation to the necessity both these cases required.
That's what I'm saying. He just focused on the task at hand. Right. We got brothers in Galilee and we got brothers in Goliath that's getting killed. What are we going to do?
He took himself out the equation, man. He took himself out the equation and thought about the brothers. He thought about the Akim.
God.
He thought about, and he was in the spirit, man. He was like, he didn't panic. Okay, this is what we're gonna do.
I'm saying that's the thing about it, man. Just like the brothers went to on the live show last night, man. Being in the spirit is crucial, man.
Right.
But the only way you can be in the spirit is if you understand the scriptures, man. You got all these left hand, back alley, half court shot shooting niggas, that don't understand the scriptures, man.
Yep.
But they want to go out and teach. You know?
Doing nothing but scattering the flock, man.
When you got apostles and elders telling you, look, man, just focus on this right here. Focus on this right here, and all that other stuff will play itself out.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Go ahead.
It says gave order that Simon his brother should take 3,000 chosen men and go to the assistance of the Jews in Galilee, while he and another of his brothers, Jonathan, made haste into the land of Gilead with 8,000 soldiers, and he left Joseph the son of Zacharias and Azarias to be over the rest of the forces.
Mm-hmm.
And he charged them to keep Judea very carefully, and to fight no battles with any persons whomsoever until his return.
That's what I'm saying. Specific instructions. Specific instructions. Don't deal with the black consciousness community.
Yeah. Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
But you want to make a name for yourself.
Don't be out on the highways and byways being carnal. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Battles that you see Jake lose on a regular basis, man, we was already given instructions. If you don't want to follow the instructions, that's on you.
Yeah, that's when you fall. That's when you get dusted. That's when you out there looking crazy.
You know what I'm saying? Go ahead.
Accordingly, Simon went into Galilee and fought the enemy and put them to flight and pursued them to the very gates of Ptolemais and slew about 3,000 of them and took the spoils of those that were slain,
Mm-hmm.
and those Jews whom they had made captives with their baggage, and then returned home.
Yeah, man, they went and got their people, man. That's another thing to let you know we ain't Africans too, man.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? When have Africans ever pulled anything to try to get
Not once.
us to get back? You know what I'm saying? They ain't put forth no revolution or made strides to get us brought back from where we was taken from if we was those people.
Right.
Read.
This is verse 24 in 1 Maccabees chapter 5. It says, Judas Maccabees also and his brother Jonathan went over Jordan and traveled 3 days' journey in the wilderness,
Mm-hmm.
where they met with the Nabathites, who came unto them in peaceable manner, and told them everything that happened to their brethren in the land of Gilead,
Mm-hmm.
and how many of them were shut up in Basora, and Basor, and Elma, and Casphor, Macht, and Carneum. All these cities are strong and great,
Mm-hmm.
and that they were shut up in the rest of the cities of the country of Gilead, and that against tomorrow they had appointed to bring their host against the forts, and to take them and to destroy them all in one day.
Mm-hmm.
Hereupon Judas and his host turned suddenly by the way of the wilderness into Basora, and when he had won the city, he slew all the males with the edge of the sword, and took all their spoils and burnt the cities with fire.
That was saying, you see all these cities that they named. You know what I'm saying? All these cities were Judas's reputation had spread out to all these cities.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Go ahead.
And these are beyond Jordan.
Yeah.
You know, so it ain't. This is on the whole east side of Israel. You know, it says from whence he removed by night, and went till he came to the fortress, and betimes in the morning they looked up, and behold, there was an innumerable people bearing ladders and other engines of war to take the fortress, for they assaulted them.
Mm-hmm.
When Judas therefore saw the battle was begun, and that the cry of the city went up to heaven with trumpets and a great sound, he said unto his host, Fight this day for your brethren.
Stop. Taking himself out the equation.
Right.
He looking at the numbers. He examining the situation. He seeing what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
So forget all of it. Fight for your brothers, man.
Right.
Fight for your brothers. That's imperative
Yeah.
today. To fight for your brothers, man. You know what I'm saying? We got brothers down there in Houston that's getting rained on, man. We got brothers all over the East Coast that's about to get rained on. You know what I'm saying? We got brothers out in the Northwest. It's fires out there where they are. They can't breathe.
Yeah, man.
You know what I'm saying? But us going out on these highways and byways, and us going out on and doing these sit-down shows and live shows and all these different things, we fighting for our brothers through the Spirit.
Right.
You know? Go ahead.
Precept. This is 2 Timothy 2 and 10. It says, Therefore I endure all things for the elect's sake.
I endure all things for the elect's sake. So if that's this story right here where you outnumbered, if it's like Eleazar in Maccabees, them brothers in the Maccabees, is Yahweh Shai himself.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead.
That they may also obtain the salvation which is in Yahweh Shai with
That
eternal
they may
glory.
also, read it again.
Therefore I endure all things for the elect's sakes, that they may also obtain the salvation which is in Yahushua.
That's what I'm saying. Today is a beautiful day to die.
Right.
Type attitude.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Because you understand that if you die in this battle, you fought the good fight. You know what I'm saying? The Lord is going to deliver you, whether you in this body or the next one to come. But you will be delivered. Your spirit don't die. Read on.
It says, with eternal glory. It is a faithful saying. For if we be dead with him, we shall also live with him.
Mm-hmm. That's what I'm saying. The dead in Hamashiach shall find their life.
Yeah.
You know?
Yep.
As soon as you realize, matter of fact, get 1 Corinthians 6 and 19 real quick.
All right.
Once you understand that you don't belong to you, it's easier to say screw it. You know what I'm saying? It ain't about what I want or about what I need. First of all, I want and I need the kingdom of heaven.
Right, you know.
So if that ain't what you need or if that ain't what you want, you probably ain't gonna get it. Go ahead.
1 Corinthians 6 and 19. What? Know ye not that your body is the temple of the Holy Spirit which is in you?
Judas knew that it wasn't about him. Jonathan knew that it wasn't about him. Simon knew that it wasn't about him. What was their dad? Mattathias. He knew it wasn't about him. That's why he got his sons ready. Right. You understand how much a man loves his son? And for him to train his son up to get ready to go die, he's taking himself completely out of the equation. Mm-hmm. Go ahead.
Which ye have of the Most High. And
which ye have of the Most High. Judas wouldn't have been there if it wasn't for Yahweh Shem Yahushai.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? He was watching our people get slaughtered. He was watching our people sell out. Yet and still, he had the will to fight. Go ahead.
And ye are not your own.
And ye are not your own. Go ahead.
For ye are bought with a price.
Judas was bought with a price, just like we are. What's that price? The blood of Yahushua.
Right.
Go ahead.
Therefore glorify the Most High in your body and in your spirit, which
glorify
are the
Most High in your body and in your spirit, which belongs to the Most High. Your body, why? Because you might have to put that thing on the line for the brothers.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Your spirit, it's got to be right when the Lord come take it.
Right.
You know? Go ahead.
It says, which are the Most Highs.
Which are the Most High. That's what I'm saying. We don't own nothing, man. Nothing. It's not up to us. If that was the case, if it was up to us, we'd be in a better position, right?
We'll be in the kingdom.
Go ahead.
Jumping back to verse 33, it says, so he went forth behind them in 3 companies, who sounded their trumpets and cried with prayer. Mm-hmm. Then the host of Timotheus, knowing that it was Maccabees, fled from him. Wherefore he smote them with a great slaughter, so that there were killed of them that day about 8,000 men.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So once Timotheus realized that Judas was back, he didn't want to go to war no more.
Mm-hmm. Ran.
Wasn't he the one? If I'm not mistaken, wasn't Timotheus the one that killed all them Jakes?
Yeah, he was the one that had the Jakes.
He was over Ammon, right?
Yeah.
It equated him to Ammon.
Yeah.
And he was going hard. Okay, I got you. But as soon as he seen Judas, now it was different.
Yeah, it was different.
Okay.
Because he was messing with the Israelites before Judas and them was even over there.
Right.
That's why them brothers. That's why they got the note. The epistle from. The verse 35, it says, this done, Judas turned aside to Maspha, and after he had assaulted it, he took it and slew all the males therein, and received the spoils thereof, and burnt it with fire. Mm-hmm. From thence went he and took Casphon, Magad, Bosar, and the other cities of the country of Gilead. Mm-hmm. All right, let's see. 12:8. All right, so we're going to jump back to Josephus. We're on number 3. It says, now as for Judas Maccabees and his brother Jonathan, they passed over the river Jordan, and when they had gone 3 days' journey, they lighted upon the Nabateans, who came to meet them peaceably, and who told them how the affairs of those in the land of Galilee stood, and how many of them were in distresses, and driven into garrisons and into cities of Galilee, and exhorted him to make haste to go against the foreigners, and to endeavor to save his own countrymen out of their hands. To this exhortation Judas hearkened, and returned into the wilderness. And in the first place fell upon the inhabitants of Bosar, and took the city, and beat the inhabitants, and destroyed all the males and all that were able to fight, and burnt the city. Mm-hmm. Nor did he stop even when night came on, but he journeyed in it to the garrisons where the Jews happened to be shut up, and where Timotheus lay round the place with his army. And Judas came upon the city in the morning, And when he found that the enemy were making an assault upon the walls, and that some of them brought ladders on which they met, or on which they might get upon these walls, and that others brought engines to batter them, he bid the trumpeter to sound his trumpet, and he encouraged the soldiers cheerfully to undergo dangers for the sake of their brethren and kindred.
That's what I'm saying, man. If the Lord is for us, who can be against us?
Yep.
That was the type of attitude he had. You know what I'm saying? And that's the thing. That's one thing about it. You have to have that type of attitude. That's a manly attitude. Remember the last chapter where it talked about how they seen the manliness of Judas's men. That's what I'm saying. These people are seeing the madness. I mean, the manliness. They seeing the manliness of the Israelites on full display on the highways and the byways, on the four corners of the earth, week in and week out, through the spirit and power of Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai. You know what I'm saying? Fighting for our brothers. Go ahead.
You make your body a living sacrifice. Man.
That's right.
He also parted his army into three bodies, and fell upon the backs of their enemies. But when Timotheus' men perceived that it was Maccabees that was upon them, on both whose courage and good success in war they had formerly had sufficient experience, they were put to flight. But Judas followed them with his army and slew about 8,000 of them.
That's what I'm saying. Judas wasn't never. If you run, that don't mean nothing.
Yeah, you gonna get your issue.
He ain't care about you running. He was in shape.
Yeah.
All these men was in shape. You know what I'm saying? To chase somebody all the way home.
Yeah.
When you already see that we right here, right now, and they don't want none. You gonna chase him home though.
You chasing them to another city. Trying to run. Imagine running from Dallas to Irvin or whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
Chasing.
He basically chased him from Dallas to Houston. Get out of here.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And the reason why he would chase you home, is because he was going to take your land.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And 8,000 men ain't no small number of men. That's
line up 8,000 men.
That's a lot of people.
Line up 8,000 men. Go ahead.
And then turned aside to the city of the foreigners called Mali, and took it, and slew all the males, and burnt the city itself, and then removed from thence and overthrew Caspham and Bosar and many other cities of the land of Gilead. Alright, so we're going to jump back to the Josephus here. I'm sorry, we're going to jump back to the First Maccabees, verse 37. It says, After these things gathered Timotheus another host, and encamped against Rephan beyond the brook. So Judas sent men to espy the host, who brought him word, saying, All the heathen that be round about us are assembled unto them, even a very great host. He hath also hired the Arabians to help them, and they have pitched their tents beyond the brook, ready to come and fight against thee. Upon this Judas went to meet them. Then Timotheus said unto the captains of his host, When Judas and his host come near the brook, if he pass over first unto us, we shall not be able to withstand him, for he will mightily prevail against us. But if he be afraid and camp beyond the river, we shall go over unto him and prevail against him.
He hoping Judas will be scared.
Man, after seeing all that he done did so far.
Yeah. Now all of a sudden he gonna be scared. Boy, stop. Go ahead.
Verse 42. Now when Judas came near the brook, he caused the scribes of the people to remain by the brook, unto whom he gave commandment, saying, Suffer no man to remain in the camp, but let all come to the battle. So he went first over unto them, and all the people after him. Then all the heathen, being discomfited before him, cast away their weapons and fled into the temple that was at Carnium.
That's what I'm saying. Every time Judas flexed his muscles, they ran. Every single time. And that's how you see the spirit and power of Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai on a man.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? That's just like all these clowns on the comment board and these people that come up on the highways and the byways. Once they see that we ain't gonna budge, they leave.
Yep.
They leave.
The wicked fleeth when the righteous man pursueth.
You know what I'm saying?
Verse 44. But they took the city and burnt the temple, with all that were therein. Thus was Carnium subdued, neither could they stand any longer before Judas. Then Judas gathered together all the Israelites that were in the country of Gilead, from the least unto the greatest, even their wives and their children, and their stuff, a very great host, to the end they might come into the land of Judea.
That's what I'm saying. You remember the Exodus from
That's what it sounds
Egypt?
like. Yeah. He gathering them all up. Just take them back home.
History repeats itself, man.
Yep.
History repeats itself. So you got the story of Moses and the Exodus. Then you got this story right here.
Yep. Judas Maccabees and the Maccabean revolt.
You know what I'm saying? We're not saying that Judas is Moses. We just pointing out the similarities, man.
Right.
If you can receive it, you know.
Now we're jumping back to the Josephus. This is number 4. It says, "But not long after this, Timotheus prepared a great army and took many others as auxiliaries and induced some of the Arabians by the promise of rewards to go with him in this expedition and come with his army beyond the brook."
You know what I'm saying? He trying to make it worth people while. Yeah, I know it's Judas, man, but if we win, man, you gonna have some money.
I'm gonna give you this. I'm gonna give you that.
Go ahead.
Over against the city Raphon, and he encouraged his soldiers, if it came to a battle with the Jews, to fight courageously and to hinder their passing over the brook. For he said to them beforehand that if they come over it, we shall be beaten. And when Judas heard that Timotheus prepared himself to fight, he took all his own army and went in haste against Timotheus' enemy.
And he said he took everybody. He said, "Nah, we ain't leaving nobody back this time. I need every swinging rod fighting."
Right.
You know, that's what it's gonna take. Go ahead.
And when he had passed over the brook, he fell upon his enemies, and some of them met him, whom he slew, and others of them he so terrified that he compelled them to throw down their arms and fly. So he told them, "Man, drop your weapons and just go."
Yeah.
He just told them.
Yeah.
He said they were so scared. I'm gonna read that again. It says, "And others of them he so terrified that he compelled them to throw down their arms and fly."
They figured that was the best thing to do.
It says fly.
Yeah.
You know, he's somebody saying, "He flying." Like they was putting them burners on to get away from you.
They had all these swords and all that stuff. They
just hear stuff hitting the ground.
He said, "Man, you know what? I got kids. I got a family. I got a wife, man. Hey, you got it."
He was like, "You got it, bro." And some of them escaped, but some of them fled to what was called the Temple of Carnium, and hoped thereby to preserve themselves. But Judas took the city and slew them and burnt the temple, and so used several ways of destroying his enemy.
Yeah, they couldn't run, man. They couldn't run.
That's funny, man. He said he compelled them, man. Look, just drop your weapons, get out of here.
And they tell you, he said, "You want to go?" He said, "You want to go to jail or you want to go home?"
Well, you can go this route. You see all your other boys murked over here. You can either fall out. You can take this route or take this one. Which one you choose? They chose A.
I'm telling you.
It's like, you want some too, old man? Nope. Man, all right, so going back to verse 46. "Now when they came into Ephron, this was a great city in the way, as they should go, very well fortified. They could not turn from it, either on the right hand or the left, but must needs pass through the midst of it." What does this sound like? It sounds like Jericho.
Yep.
They had to, they couldn't go through Jericho. I'm sorry, they couldn't go around.
They could. I would say Edom wouldn't let us pass through.
I'm sorry, Edom.
Edom wouldn't let us. Yeah, Edom wouldn't let us pass through.
So they had to go through it.
Yeah. I want to say because we had to actually pass through Edom to escape. I want to say the Babylonians.
It was during the conquest it's somewhere in the book of Numbers how we were asking to go through the king. We were trying to go through the king's highway.
Right.
And we couldn't go through because Edom owned that part of the land, and the king's highway was a big trade route. So the Edomites was pretty much like, man, first we told them, like, look, we ain't gonna drink none of your water. We ain't gonna pitch tent in there, man. Look, all we looking to do is just pass through, and even if we do drink the water, we'll pay for it.
And we was fleeing Babylonian persecution. It was Babylonian persecution.
Okay,
if I'm not mistaken.
Because I remember earlier in the history too, as well, on our way to the Promised Land, from when we were going through the wilderness, there was a time where we actually had to go through the king. We were trying to go through the king's highway, and Edom didn't let us go through. Matter of fact, I'm just gonna get it because I know it's in the book of Numbers. I remember we were trying to go through, and then Edomites was acting like some hoes, and we couldn't go through. That's not it right there. Salakia, just give us 1 second. I might be mistaken though. Yeah, I think I might be mistaken.
I want to say, I know when you go to Psalms 137 and 7, it says, daughter of Babylon, who ought to be destroyed.
Happy shall it be, yes, right.
Yeah. And Edom is the daughter of Babylon. So that's how you would put that together. I don't know what book it's in, but Psalms 137 and 7 is where you will go to just hit them upside the head.
Yeah, that's right, because it talks about linking up Edom, like you said, linking up Edom with Babylon, because you know they were looking at our destruction, man, and they didn't help us, and they didn't let us pass through. Right. They actually betrayed us, man. They when you go into the history, man, they actually, you know, we made a deal with Esau. We made a deal with Edom when the Babylonians was coming to try to take, you know, Jerusalem at that time, which Jeremiah was prophesying about. Like, look, man, fall down to the Babylonians and just serve your captivity. But you had the kings at that time trying to make pacts with different nations. They made a pact with Esau. The Babylonians came, and then the Edomites turned on us. You know. But going back, Salakia, this is verse 47. Then they of the city shut them out and stopped up the gates with stones. Whereupon Judah sent unto them in a peaceable manner, saying, let us pass through your land to go into your to go into our own country, and none shall do any hurt. We will only pass through on foot, howbeit they would not open unto him. Wherefore Judas commanded a proclamation to be made throughout the host, that every man should pitch his tent in the place where he was. So the soldiers pitched and assaulted the city all that day and all that night, till at the length the city was delivered into his hands, who then slew all the males with the edge of the sword, and razed the city, and took the spoils thereof, and passed through the city over them that were slain. After this went they over Jordan into the great plain of Bethsan, and Judas gathered together those that came behind, and exhorted the people all the way through, till they came into the land of Judea.
Right.
So they went up to Mount Zion with joy and gladness, where they offered burnt offerings, because not one of them were slain until they had returned in peace.
That's what I'm saying. When you're in the spirit, man, the Lord will let your whole congregation make it.
Man, not one out of 8,000 men, not one of them died. On top of that, there was people with them that they went to go to deliver. So it was more than 8,000 people, and all of them made it back. Not one person died.
That's right.
Look, it go to show you the power. It go to show you the power of the Lord, man. You know. But I'm gonna jump back to the Josephus real quick. Let's see, number 5. So it says, when he had done this, he gathered the Jews together with their children and wives and the substance that belonged to them, and was going to bring them back into Judea. But as soon as he was come to a certain city, the name of which was called Ephron, that lay upon the road, and as it was not possible for him to go any other way, so he was not willing to go back again, he then sent to the inhabitants and desired that they would open their gates and permit them to go on their way through the city. For they had stopped up the gates with stones and cut off their passage through it. And when the inhabitants of Ephron would not agree to his proposal, he encouraged those that were with him, and encompassed the city round, and besieged it, and lying round it by day and night took the city, and slew every male in it, and burnt it all down, and so obtained a way through it.
I said that sound like Jericho.
Yeah.
They just said, we just gonna post up. You know what I'm saying? Say, hey, look, pitch our tents right here. We got this.
We gonna slam this city all day long, and we gonna walk through this mud.
I'm telling you,
whether they like it or not.
That's what's up.
It says, and the multitude of those that were slain were so great that they went over the dead bodies.
That's what I'm saying. They had to walk over. You remember on 300?
Yeah.
When they built that wall full of them dead bodies, and they pushed them all over.
Yep.
It was that many dead bodies.
Woo, man.
Go ahead.
It says, so they came over Jordan and arrived at the great plain, which was over against which is situate the city of Bethshan, which is called by the Greeks Scythopolis. And going away hastily from thence, they came into Judea, singing psalms and hymns as they went, and indulging such tokens of mirth as are usual in triumphants upon victory. They also offered thank offerings, both of their good success and for the preservation of their army, for not one of the Jews was slain in these battles.
That's what I'm saying. They had a lot to be grateful for, man.
Yep, Lord delivered them.
Go ahead.
That was it on that one, and then we're gonna continue on here, verse 54. I'm in the book of Numbers. I'm tripping. All right, verse 55 actually. Now, what time as Judas and Jonathan were in the land of Gilead, and Simon his brother in Galilee before Ptolemais, Joseph the son of Zacharias and Azarias, captains of the garrison, heard of the valiant acts and warlike deeds which they had done.
That's what I'm saying. They got caught up. You know what I'm saying? Now, you remember he left Joseph and Azarias in charge.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? In charge of Judea while they went out to go bring their people back. Go ahead.
Wherefore they said, let us also get us a name and go fight against the heathen that are round about us.
Shit, Judas them out there winning. Shit, we can win too. Shit, Judas put us in charge. What you think he put us in charge for?
The Lord dealing with us.
But when he put you in charge, he said, don't go out there and fight.
And follow instruction. What does this sound like, man?
The Lord dealing with us.
Sounds like Korah, Dathan, and Abiram all over again.
It sounds like what I'm saying. And then you can take your choice. You can pick who you want to equate that to today.
Same thing.
You know what I'm saying?
Lord dealing with us, man. The apostles out here teaching this doctrine. The Lord dealing with us, so we can teach this.
No, man.
All right. Verse 58.
For destruction.
Woo, man, these scriptures bad. So when they had given charge unto the garrison that was with them, they went towards Jamnia. Then came Georgias and his men out of the city to fight against
what Judas say? Judas said, y'all just stay here, man. They ain't gonna do nothing.
Stay put.
Just stay put till I get back. Go ahead.
And Georgias came back up in the picture. Right back. Verse 60. And so it was that Joseph and Azarias were put to flight and pursued unto the borders of Judea.
They got chased all the way home. Because they said they went out to Jamnia to fight.
Yeah.
They left Judea.
They left their post.
And got chased all the way back home. Read on.
Were pursued into the borders of Judea, and there were slain that day of the people of Israel about 2,000 men.
2,000 men. 2,000 men died because y'all think y'all got it.
Because 2 people wanted to be out of order.
2 people was out of order, therefore 2,000 men had to die. That's Jake.
Yep.
Go ahead.
Thus was there a great overthrow.
And I'm going to say this. All these dudes that want to be out of order and don't want to follow what the scriptures say, it's because of y'all that these congregations going to get killed, man. You know what I'm saying? You done broke off and did your own thing. You all out of order, scoffing and running your damn mouth. Your congregation gonna get killed because of your ass.
Yep, there's actually a scripture I'm about to look for.
You know what I'm saying? Now bite down on that, man. Bite down on that. You know what I'm saying? We just read how when Judas was in the spirit and when Judas was in order, not one single person lost their life. Heard you got 2 dudes that's out of order. 2,000 men gotta die, man?
2,000. This is Matthew chapter 15, verse 14. Actually, I'll start at verse 13. But he answered and said, every plant which my heavenly Father hath not planted shall be rooted up. Let them alone. They be blind leaders of the blind, and if the blind lead the blind, both shall fall into the ditch.
Let the filthy be filthy still. Let the wicked be wicked still.
Yep.
Let the righteous be righteous still.
It says verse 61, thus was there a great overthrow among the children of Israel.
That's what I'm saying. And Israel is being overthrown, man. Today, the 2/3 are being overthrown because you got dudes that want to do their own thing, man.
Out of order, man.
You got dudes that don't believe in Yahweh Shai, man. They say they do, but they don't.
Your actions show you don't believe in them.
You can yell Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai as loud as you want, man. But if you ain't in order, he gonna say he don't know you when he get back. Read.
Thus was there a great overthrow among the children of Israel, because they were not obedient unto Judas and his brethren.
That's what I'm saying. They didn't listen to the elder. Judas and his brothers was the elders.
Yep.
They didn't listen. So therefore you got 2,000 dead bodies. Because a nigga want to be a nigga. There you go. Go ahead.
It says, but thought to do some valiant act.
That's what I'm saying. I got this. I got this. You going off.
Can't no man tell me nothing.
I got this. Oh, no. Y'all gonna stop playing with these scriptures. Go ahead.
Moreover, these men came not of the seed of those by whose hand deliverance was given unto Israel.
You remember I was talking about the Nabateans and all these other groups. A lot of them wasn't Israelites. It was just Israelites amongst them. But they was hearing about the fame. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That Judas was obtaining through the Spirit, to where they was willing to fight against Esau too.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because Esau was running everything then. So you had people that wasn't even Israelites willing to fight with Israelites just to come up against the devil, pretty much. Go ahead.
Howbeit the man Judas and his brethren were greatly renowned in the sight of all Israel, and all the heathen wheresoever their name was heard of, insomuch as the people assembled themselves with joyful acclamations.
See? They heard about Judas's fame and how he giving it to these Edomites. They like, look, we ain't Israel, but they messing us up too.
Yeah.
So, you know, we'll fight.
Yeah.
How many of us you need?
Like, hey, whoever's on his team is winning.
You know? Go ahead.
Afterward went Judas forth with his brethren, and fought against the children of Esau in the land toward the south, where he smote Hebron and the towns thereof, and pulled down the fortress of it, and burnt the towns thereof round about.
Mm-hmm.
From thence he removed to go into the land of the Philistines, and passed through Samaria. At that time certain priests, desirous to show their valor, were slain in battle, for that they went out to fight unadvisedly.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They was doing too much, man. I would say before any battle that Judas and his men went into, he would pray to the Heavenly Father. You know what I'm saying? And then you got these dudes that just like, well, shit.
It says unadvisedly, man. Like, they went out just...
Didn't nobody tell you to do that?
Yeah. Yep. Out there doing too much.
You know what I'm saying? Out there doing your thing. Read.
So Judas turned to Azotus in the land of the Philistines, and when he had pulled down their altars and burnt their carved images with fire and spoiled their cities, he returned into the land of Judea.
You know? And it was a constant battle, man. Judas was always fighting, man. Judas fought and fought and fought and fought and fought because he knew it wasn't about him. Mm-hmm. He could have easily went and chilled. Everywhere he went, he got love.
Yep.
It just told you. Everywhere Judas went, people loved him. Even the heathen. Mm-hmm. He could have chilled, bro.
He would have been good.
He could have easily just chilled.
But he had work to do.
Just like we do. You know what I'm saying? We could easily just chill. You know what I'm saying? But that ain't what we was put here to do, man. It's about enduring to the end at this point. Right. And I was saying, our salvation is nigher than when we believe. You know? You got anything else?
Nope.
All right. Well, with that, we want to give all praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai.
Shai.
Double honors to the apostles and elders at Great Millstone, and blessings to the elect. Shalom.
Shalom.